rheostat settings for heat, whereas this one is digital. So you can really dial in your heat very, very specifically. And the Harbor Freight version did not have an adjustable airflow. So you couldn't vary that either. This one does both, and it was actually cheaper than the Harbor Freight plastic welder. And fortunately, Harbor Freight takes all their stuff back with like no questions asked. And yeah, you tried the Harbor Freight version like 15 years ago, the old design. Ah, gotcha. Yeah, and they do make a soldering iron type of plastic welder. There's also what they call a plastic welder, but it's more of like a plastic stapler, where you stick these staples into the end of this soldering iron like tool, and you just melt it into the plastic and then withdraw the tool and then snip off the wires. So basically what you're doing is you're just like suturing your plastic. But with this, I have enough fine control that I'm actually welding the plastic. Then I glue in real staples. Gotcha. Well, I'm actually getting a weld. On the front of this, you can see the plastic is fairly thin, but with the cutout pieces from here, I welded them together and then welded them back to the base plastic. This piece right here was just kind of give a little bit more integrity back to the front, but you can see that it's actually welded, and there's no staples or mesh or anything like that. You're usually doing car bumpers and boat parts. Yeah, that was the videos that I was watching, and it did look messy, but at least with that, uh, you have the advantage of being able to sand it and fill it. A lot of this right here, I knew it was going to potentially show, and so I wanted to practice enough and use the right tool to get an aesthetically pleasing result. And it's not always that way. But I just want to show you, like on this, if the plastic welding rod had matched a little bit better. This was all the old attempts to try to weld HDPE to polypropylene, which doesn't work. They are just incompatible. But on this side, you can see that I got a nice clean weld, and it's strong. It's very, very strong. So I'm pretty happy with it. Like I said, on this particular component here, I removed too much material, and I needed a tab to run a couple of screws into this. And anyway, it seems to be working out pretty darn well. This was one of the tricks I learned from one of those automotive plastic welding videos, was to use the metal tape, because it's going to reflect the heat back into your piece, kind of keep it where you want it. And yeah, I mean, you can see that just that one little weld right there is part of the plastic. It works quite well. So let's get this lopped off here. I was thinking at one point I had a little Dremel saw blade that would probably be very much or would be better for cutting plastic. I'm using just a regular Dremel cutoff wheel, abrasive wheel, and it cuts the plastic, but it melts it in the process. I'm still surprised by how strong it is. Me too, Bougie. I mean, it really does bond those together. And especially considering this is all new to me, I'm an amateur at it. I'm very happy that I'm getting the results that I'm getting. And yeah, so that gives me confidence in my project that that little tab right there is going to stay. And, when I run the screws into the HDPE, it should hold up. Even though that little flap is kind of hanging out there in harm's way and might get bumped with stuff, yeah, it's pretty impressive. We always think of plastic as garbage, plastic garbage. But it can be pretty strong, depending on the application. So, yeah, on the back side of this, I want to give it a little bit of a chamfer. Again, so I can get my welding rod down inside of there. That was also something that I learned from those automotive type plastic welding videos. But they would take a stick and basically just kind of like lay it down on top of it, and then mash that into their base plastic with a tool very similar to a soldering iron. This is a little more controllable, I'd say. You really are trying to get the plastic to the right temperature where it fuses together, and having the finer control of the airflow and the temperature, it kind of makes all the difference. Okay. So this is basically functioning as my clamp for my piece. If you were welding steel, you'd probably have a bunch of clamps to hold things at a 90-degree angle, or two pieces flat. You could put it on a table, but since I don't have that advantage here, this seems to be working out okay. Yeah, I agree. PE and PP don't fume, so you get to take your time to, one, learn it, and two, get a good bond. Yeah, if I had to have a respirator on, that would be less convenient. Or, fans to blow the fumes away. And I eventually do want to have that stuff. We're just working with the polypropylene now, but I would like to learn how to weld other plastics. And not just do a plastic repair, if you know what I'm saying. Like, if that's all I was trying to do, I probably would have been better off to buy that stapling tool. But then you've got a lot of work to do with filler and stuff like that. And I think with this, if you prepared your piece and then have the patience to kind of go over it again and clean it up, you could get a pretty clean looking repair. Like on this one. If I spend a little bit more time to sand this down, and then maybe you'd run the heat over it one more time, you could get it to look pretty darn flush and smooth. On the back here, I actually left it kind of proud on purpose as a bead, because I was really looking for the strength, and boy, did it deliver. Then a layer over it to hide it. Yeah, that's what I was seeing. But like I said, I could have done all that with the Harbor Freight stuff, and I hated how big and bulky the tool was. It didn't seem to, well, it wasn't rated for like any more temperature than this will deliver. Just to hold it is like you're holding up, 15, 20 pounds for a while. Whereas this is pretty lightweight. The fan's actually built into the tool, and it's much easier to handle. It also has that convenience feature, where